This is The Heat Source, the podcast where we learn everything we can about hot sauce, one bottle at a time. We are your hosts, Mike and Matt, and today we're trying 6-6 Citrus by Decimation Hot Sauce. Let's heat up! All right, and we are back with episode 13. I know that we just had an episode 2 weeks ago, but it feels like we haven't recorded one in a month, which I think might be accurate.
Yeah, on my way here, I feel like I forgot, what to do.
Well, I was remembering that we had a couple here's some interesting things we missed last week. We could talk about that. And then oh wait, there was also the trip to Mexico that I did with my family. There's also, we weren't able to record 1 week because my family got sick with COVID. Luckily, everyone's okay. But it's there was a whole other series of events that I totally forgot about because it's been so long. But yeah, we are doing a early morning recording. So if you hear a yawn, that's probably why. But we are recording the morning of this episode release for Decimation Hot Sauce, a hot sauce company that I actually met out in Boston at the Boston Hot Sauce Festival. And Decimation's it's just a really nice, pleasant hot sauce name to...
Friendly, inviting.
Yeah. Awesome bottles with the skull and the flames, and they all have a similar design, just different kind of color palette from what I'm seeing, because we have a couple bottles that I bought from Boston.
No, they're cool. I like the artwork. I like the, I don't know, would you call that a satin finish? Or the matte finish on the label?
Yeah, it's a matte finish on there where it's not as shiny. It actually, when taking the photo for this, I didn't get as much glare, even though I did a little bit different way. I shot this one in the dark instead of during broad daylight to in theme with Decimation.
The photo you took, took me out of summer and put me right in fall. Now I'm just hoping for Halloween already. Yeah,
that was very Halloween, fall, a little spooky.
Yeah.
But for this one, we are actually trying their award-winning sauce, 6-6 Citrus, which is a orange and habanero sauce. I didn't look at the full ingredients yet, though. Let's see here. 6-6 Citrus. On the bottle, it says an absolute crowd favorite. It's citrus forward, savory, and packs a punch. Pairs excellent with seafood, tacos, and more. I mean, you got me sold there. Shrimp tacos right there. I could do it.
Don't even have to try it. Sounds good.
I know. On his scale, which he's got a 6 flame scale, he's got 4 out of 6. I know on his website, this one is listed as a 6 out of 10. But all of his sauces I feel are a little bit extra heat than some of those other all-natural sauces where you think, it's got habanero, but it's, 1 or 2. This one I feel might have a bit more of a kick. Mm-hmm. It was, with anything at Boston, it was something I tried. I remember his sauces were very good, but I also tried all of his sauce. So the heat was just reinforced after every one of them. He did not have... I'm trying to think if I tried his hottest one when I was there, because he had one that's called Everlasting Torment. That's the extreme hot. That's the... I made this for the people complaining that it wasn't hot.
It's not mild.
Yeah, it's not a nice salsa verde jalapeno sauce, but...
It looks good, though. It's got it's very orange, which I love. I don't know, I'm just attracted to an orange hot sauce. I think we covered that in the second episode or something.
We did talk about that with the color, kind of how inviting it is and what that kind of psychologically does in, I believe, second or third episode. But yeah, this one, it's founded by Jared Brodeur, who I'm not going to make you pronounce it, but is from Worcester, Mass.
Wouldn't have got it. Yeah,
it's the Worcestershire mindset where you look at it and you want to go, oh, it's Worcester. Worcester.
Yeah.
But it's the Worcester.
Say it one more time.
Worcester.
Wouldn't have gotten it.
Phonetically, it's WUH-stir.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to look that up because I know that that's something of a sticking point for some people where they're like, yeah, they never pronounce that right. But he's out of Worcester, Mass. He is, I like his catchphrase on the website. It's farm to flame.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
But yeah, I met him at the Boston Hot Sauce Festival. one of the things that stuck out to me was on day 2, before they started the show, he posted on Instagram, and it's still on there, where he pre-gamed before the show by taking his beer, a Modelo, and just drizzled in some hot sauce, took a sip, and I'm just like, okay, all right.
It's like a hot sauce chilada or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not going to be good, because it's like the flavors on here could be pretty amazing.
I mean, yeah, it's citrus and beer.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, works out.
Yeah, we've had a few weeks off. We are doing this episode the morning of. We're planning out hopefully the rest of the year on what sauces we're going to try, but we've got a lot of kind of fun ideas that we just have to get into production. Apparently the summer moves faster than we're ready for.
It's scary. It sounds like you have a lot of time. And then once you start to lay everything out and try to go through it, it's like scheduling's hard. That's probably been the hardest thing about doing a podcast is the scheduling. And I mean, you do a lot more than I do, so I can't imagine.
Well, I mean, the hardest thing, I mean, with all of it is just, finding the time to go, oh yeah, we should record like 2-3 episodes to get ahead. And then you're like, oh wait, that's like 7 hours of time, not including like prepping, background and information. So it is a little bit much, but we're going to try to get ahead here. We've got a lot of sauces to try. We've got, I mean, just with this one, we also have his hot sauce Tiki Torture and Hell's Harvest to try on some quickfire episodes later on, either this month or next. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Let's open up the bottle and get trying on this, then we can go into a little bit of background. Also, while I'm getting this prep to open, if you've been on our Instagram this week, you notice we added a new wet burrito. I wouldn't say we add a new wet burrito to the catalog, because it's been in your catalog for a while, but I got to try the super wet burrito from Taco Boy, and if you watch the video and you think it looks really good, it was incredible. I still don't know how to quantify it between the Beltline bar, which to me is the original. Oh, there's no...
I was going to say, what are you doing right now?
I thought that there was I thought there would have been a seal on there. Oh my gosh.
I can understand being so distracted by a wet burrito. That's a fair excuse.
Yeah. All right. So there was a seal, but it was the little pull the tab.
It's like is it a foil top? Or is it
plastic?
It's
a foil.
Okay.
I think. Oh, no, it's plastic. It had just the little pull tab, but it was like...
Yeah.
It wasn't our normal sound, so that's what happens when you haven't recorded in a few weeks.
And it's, 6 in the morning?
6 in the morning, yeah. Everything is off a little bit, so...
But no, that wet burrito, that's probably my favorite wet burrito. I love that one.
It was really good. The red sauce and that hot sauce that they make, I think those two things really are what kind of differentiates it from... I've had Adobe's wet burrito, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't try to challenge it with Beltline bars. But I don't know how much extra effort they put in their red sauce. Don't come at me, Adobe. I'm sorry. I love you. Your chips are amazing. But let's... So this sauce, which I've opened without recording it, this one, it's a very yellowish orange sauce, very bright sauce. The consistency is pretty liquid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just want to... Oh, yeah. First whiff, I'm like, this one's going to have a good burn to it.
That's going to be hot.
Yeah. Because, again, it's just... So they say it's a habanero citrus, habanero orange. And we look at
I get a lot of orange and I get a lot of habanero, which is first two ingredients on it.
Yeah, and they said it's citrus forward. But I'm trying to see if they have... So vinegar, habanero pepper, orange, bell pepper, and carrot, which we've seen in... The carrot we've seen in a few for the all-natural sweetener. Garlic, salt, and oil. So, straightforward, all-natural. He is another one of the all-natural hot sauce makers. So, you're not going to get all those extra additives. And I feel like it's been so long. I had a spoonful of that hot sauce from Taco Boy because they sell it by the bottle. And I was like, oh, it's good. Like, it's not extremely hot. It's a cayenne-based, very tomato-based. And I was like, oh, it's pretty good. But I'm like, it's been a while since I've had one of these taste spoonfuls of something that really kicked. All right, let's give it a try. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'll wake you up.
So that is what I remember from his sauces is just, it's strong.
Yeah. Very citrus forward, very hot immediately. My salivary glands right now just like woke the F up.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, but it's
good.
really good. It's really good, but you do get the citrus forward. If you can't handle heat, you might not notice it as much because that habanero, it's an immediate burn. For me, it's burning the tongue. It's kind of in the back of the throat.
It's in the back of my throat, yeah. It's not lasting too long, though.
I do like, though, that's on his, it's a 6 out of 10 on his scale. And I'm like, going into some of his sauces, though, he doesn't really have much below 5 out of 10 for his rating.
Yeah.
So he has the mother-in-law mild, which I mentioned to you before. It's a 2 out of 10.
See, I thought for like mother-in-law mild, I thought that was going to be like one of his hottest ones.
Like a trick?
Yeah. Just kind of like, here, this one's for your mother-in-law. Just light her on fire, you know?
Yeah. Well, luckily he must have a good relationship with his mother-in-law. So
I have a good one with mine too, but she'll never listen to this. So
the mother-in-law is the mild. The ex-mother-in-law is the extra hot.
the gag gift.
But so he's got that one. He's got Green Hell, which is 5 out of 10. Tiki Torture, which we have for a quickfire episode, that's 6 out of 10. The 6-6 Citrus is also a 6. Lucifer's Tears, which is a 7. I love the names. Rest in Peach, which is an 8.5. Which that would be interesting with like that peach flavor, but also ramping up the heat. Hell's Harvest, which we also have, which is an 8.5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. That might be the end. If we do like 3 or 4 quickfire episodes in a row, that might have to be the end cap.
Yeah.
Having this one, it's like, my mouth is burning. I'm probably starting to sweat a little bit if I have another like spoonful or two. But it also brought me back to the Boston Fest when I was just doing the gauntlet of so many sauces. I'm salivating so much right now.
Right.
But doing the gauntlet and being like, yeah, it's hot, but I'm just been burning for a day and a half.
Yeah.
But he also had, it's sold out right now, Everlasting Torment, which is 8.5 out of 10 as well, which is one of his extra hot ones too. I'm trying to remember, I don't know if it was the Everlasting Torment or the Hell's Harvest. One of his hotter ones he wasn't going to open for the show, and then he opened it up and was able to let me try it. And I can't remember which one, but it was one of the hotters, and it punched.
Yeah.
Like it had some kick. And he has a lot of limited edition ones that he does. He has like one called Devil's Apron that's currently on his website. That's a limited edition. He does different collaborations with bands and like in theme with like tours. Mm-hmm. I saw one where he used like a sugar kelp in one of his. He has some very unique ingredients. He did say when I asked him what was coming up, like down the road, he's got New England Hot Sauce Festival in Hampton, New Hampshire. That festival is coming up this weekend, but he also said he's going to be doing some more seasonal sauces this second half of the year. So even though there's his lineup of the standards, this one is the 6-6 Citrus is one that he's been doing for, I think, from the beginning. He does like to dabble and do some creative, limited edition ones, which the limited edition ones are fun, but it's also a bummer where you better like try it right when it comes out, because if you like it, you're probably gonna have to buy like a 6-pack. One other thing he does outside of just straight hot sauce, he has a habanero simple syrup that he sells.
I saw that in your notes.
Yeah, and he had on his Instagram, I saw 2 different posts. One was he had the habanero simple syrup used in a drink with tequila, Liquid Death sparkling water, the syrup, and lime. I'm like, that would be good.
Yeah.
And then the other one it was used in a mango habanero donut. I don't know if it was just the icing, but I was like, all right, like that would also be good to me. I know one of the big chains of hot sauce did a Dunkin' Donut crossover. It was like Frank's.
Really? I didn't know about that one.
It was limited edition and it did really well, but they're like, we're not doing this.
Huh.
I'll have to see if I can find it. But it was like Frank's. It was like Frank's and Dunkin' Donuts, I think. But
yeah, those you mentioned those Liquid Death waters. They come in the white and gold.
Just look
can.
like a beer.
It looks like a Miller Lite Tall Boy.
I would like to just have a 6-pack of that in the fridge at the office.
Yeah,
and just every now and then, like one of the big bosses come in and just like, oh, how's it going? Just go in the fridge, crack it open while talking, and just staring right into his eyes.
Yeah, no, I always if I'm at the store, I'll normally buy them if I see them. They kind of have them like for sale singles in the aisle. And I'll drink them on the way home. And I've gotten some looks like, are you really drinking a beer on the way home right now?
Yeah, I feel like there had to be a few times where cops got burned where they're like, that guy's drinking while he's driving. Let's pull him over. It's like liquid death. The citrus is so good on this.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's still hot, but I got a lot more citrus the second round. I think it was the initial first thing in my mouth this morning.
Once your tongue's kind of numbed with that habanero a little bit, you're ready for it.
Right.
But yeah,
I like that.
The citrus is really good. Going back a little bit I went to Mexico for Angela's brother was getting married. It was a really nice wedding at a resort in Mexico. Never been to Mexico before. And I had more tequila-based drinks than I really ever do because I don't like tequila. Mm-hmm. But this is one, looking at that, is like, all right, this is one that I would definitely have had out there.
Yeah.
The amount of sugar I had just from drinks out there probably was astronomical.
Yeah, a lot of sugar. I don't think I drank enough tequila when I was there because I ended up getting a waterborne pathogen.
Yeah, I luckily avoided that. Have you ever done the tequila shot Johnny Vegas?
I don't think so.
It's really good. It's masked with a bunch of, I think there's like an energy drink in there and there's some different sugary stuff.
Okay.
But it was a shot that for my friend of mine's bachelor party in Chicago, we just were doing nothing but Johnny Vegas shots because he wanted to drink tequila.
Yeah.
And no one likes to drink tequila. Some people do. My friend Sandra, shout out to her. I drink a shot of tequila every year for her birthday. That's my gift.
That's funny. No, when I was in Mexico, we like the common shot to do is just a mango shot, which were very dangerous.
What's a mango shot?
I have no idea.
Is it just like mango puree in there?
Yeah, I think it was tequila, mango puree, and then they had like the tahini salted rim.
Nice. We were very mango based with a lot of our drinks. The two most popular drinks of the week, mango margaritas with some people had their different salt, no salt, or the chili lime tahini salt seasoning, which I liked that one. And the second one was strawberry mojitos.
Oh yeah.
Those two drinks, which is, again, those are two very sugary drinks. Talking a little bit about the sauce here, about how he started. He started just over 2 years ago as far as officially Decimation hot sauce. You know, we're in that 2020 range, which my dad noticed the same thing at the Boston show. I'd talk to them and say like, oh, when'd you start? Or they'd proactively be like, we started in 2020. I was on furlough. I was trying to do a second income. I was stuck at home. But this was one where he started thinking about making his own hot sauce when his Uncle Ray at a Thanksgiving brought 2 pounds of red habaneros to Thanksgiving and no one would touch them. Yeah. And so he thought, well, no one's touching them. They've been sitting there. Why don't I make a hot sauce with it? And it kind of started the gears of this could be something. This could be something, legitimate. And 6 months later from that, roughly, that's when Decimation hot sauce was born. But he also, in an article that I read at the Pulse, the Worcester Pulse magazine, he also talked about how his dad and his brother each run their own businesses. So this is something he always kind of had that urge to want to run his own business. And this is a perfect thing lined up with that. Mm-hmm. On that article, they talk about how he's a musician, freelance graphic designer, which makes me wonder if he designed this bottle, and then screen printer. But also, I don't know if it's because of the hot sauce or something he did separate. He's taken nutrition, food science, and food safety courses, which support that simple quality ingredient mindset.
Do you know what instrument?
I don't know what instrument.
I feel like we run into a lot of musicians in the hot sauce world.
Yeah, I know Hell's Kitchen, he had a musical background. I mean, I just feel like it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is that connects those two. A creativity thing, both maybe. Creative outlets, especially making creative sauces, thinking of the whole process of, you think of the name, you think of the flavors, you blend it all together.
Yeah, no, that could be.
I'm going to have this sauce on my lunch today. I just don't know in what way.
Yeah.
I'm also going to have to take about 10 minutes after if I douse it.
Oh, you've got that shrimp to cook in the air fryer.
Yeah, I could do some air fried shrimp, throw that sauce on there.
That'd be good. I might do that. I've got
grab a tortilla.
I've got shrimp too.
grab a tortilla or two. So the other thing that I want to get into on this sauce, 6.6 citrus. We talked about the blend of orange and habanero. On the website, it talks about perfect addition for wings or Mexican-style dishes. This would be a very good wing sauce. I know that at B-Dubs, the number one hot sauce that I like to do is the honey habanero. Is it honey habanero or mango habanero?
Mango habanero.
And I used to love it, and now I don't think I could have it again because
it's so pure sugar. I had it not long ago.
It's like unnatural now.
It is like corn syrup with a dash of heat.
But this rolled in some wings?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I haven't had any of this stuff, like, when I say this stuff, like these hot sauces we've tried, I haven't had them on wings yet. But I need to start doing that because they're...
Foreshadowing.
There are a lot of parallels with some good flavors that I used to like at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, because we talked about with like B-Dubs, it's like, all right, like we like these sauces, but then once you realize what they are or what else is out there, and hot sauce, the two things that come to mind probably before we started this is like, if you think of hot sauce, what are you thinking of? I would think of on pizza, on chicken wings. Mm-hmm. Those would be kind of the two things I would think of. You probably would have mac and cheese included in there.
Mac and cheese, Mexican food.
Mexican food is a good one, but wings, it's like I'm surprised how little I've tried to roll some of these in wings, and the sauces are so varied. We've done a few mango habanero sauces where you could have 3 different wings with 3 different mango habanero sauces, and you're getting a different flavor and feel from it. Yeah, the chicken wings is definitely something we need to start doing. I know we've hinted at something like that, I believe, but I'm still bummed that I broke that seal. Oh,
we have 2 others if you still want to.
No, because
try to get the recording.
We got to do that for quickfire.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want to sully. I can't sully the standard and be like, somebody, Roddy from Fire, is going to be like, hey, so I listened to the quickfire for Decimation. I'm pretty sure that's the same soundbite you used for the full episode.
I'd be shocked if someone listens to our podcast to that level of detail.
I'm just saying, that's the paranoia I have, where it's like, no, we can't do that. We've got to have a standard for that. But
I know what you need to do for the edit for this. Just put in like the sound of just a coat zipper. Just zip.
Yeah, I'll find something today. If I can find something today, I'll record a sound. I'm like, yeah, that was it.
It's exactly what that seal was.
Like, it sounds like you just ripped a sheet of paper. But like, no, it was a very papery seal. This sauce we talked about before the episode, before we recorded, but this sauce was second place at the 2022 Scovie Awards for all natural hot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in the all natural category, and then they have mild, medium, hot. It was in the hot selection, which this definitely, I'm trying to think. I want to say this is in like a 3-level heat for me.
Initial thought was close to 3.
It's like, so we have our scale of 0 to 5. 0 is no heat. 1 is, there's heat there, but it's minimal. 2 is where it's pretty strong. It pretty much hangs there, which is definitely a 2 at minimum. But then 3 is where you start to react. You start to sweat. You start to runny nose. And maybe it's not a 3. Maybe it's a very high 2. And then 4 is good pain. 5 is bad pain.
Yeah. I was going to put a 3 for this one.
I think a low 3 would be good for this. Yeah. And it's all personal preference. Somebody might have this and go, what are you talking about? Like, this ain't anything. But of course, the people who complain have terrible grammar. So but I also wonder, I might have to try it when I do lunch today, is like, all right, I'm doing a spoonful individually. If I have it where I have some shrimp and I'm just like dousing each shrimp and then just, it's escalating and escalating and escalating, it might start getting me to more like the nose running and all that. But yeah, and he grades, like I said, he grades it as a 6 out of 10 on his website. It's a 4 out of 6 flames on the bottle. All the heat is just obviously preference, personal tolerances. I think we had that habanero chocolate that I brought back that I posted on one of the stories. Yeah. And it was like, 2 out of 5 for me. Mike's a 1 out of 5. And I'm just like, I don't know if I typed it. At one point I did. I'm just like, show off. It's like, it's a 1. Well, it had a good punch to it.
Yeah. One of our coworkers didn't realize that was from Mexico. So they saw the price tag that was like 168. Yeah. It was pesos, and they thought dollars. And I'm
a high roller. I'm a high roller on vacation.
I took like maybe a quarter size bite of that chocolate, and they're like, that is a big bite for a $168 bar of chocolate.
Yeah, if that was a $168 bar of chocolate, I'd be pretty disappointed. But for whatever the conversion is, I mean, that's what is it? That's like $5-6.
Yeah, not much.
It was worth it. It was pretty good. All right. So one fun thing that I noticed with Decimation, which is something unique that I haven't seen with any other place. So he also has a pop-up deli that he does with the Decimation theme. So he has a Decimation deli pop-up that I've seen a few different posts. The sandwiches look really good.
What do you mean a pop-up deli? Like, is it a food truck?
I don't think it's a food truck. I think it's like he'll go to like different events if, set up a table.
Okay.
I know that he does some like catering options, or he has a list where it's like, let us know if you want us for your event. But it's a great way to get someone to your table that they might not be big on hot sauce, but you can at least get them there and maybe they can get to try something.
Mm-hmm.
But they do both regular and plant-based sandwiches. They have 3 different types of regular. They have 4 different types of plant-based because they have a veggie one as well. But I'm just going to run you through this because I was reading it and I was getting hungry. So they have a classic Italian, which most of this wouldn't be surprising. Pepperoni, salami, hot capicola, American, spicy. Is it jardiniere?
Yeah.
Jardiniere?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Pronunciation on this one's
it's like the marinated olives, peppers.
Yeah, I know what it is. I just always don't know what to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Roasted bell pepper or red pepper aioli, lettuce, tomato, red onion, oil, vinegar. Classic.
Right.
Really good. Salt. I haven't tried it, but it sounds really good. Salsalito slammer, salsalito turkey, avocado, cheddar, chipotle aioli, spinach, tomato, and onion. And then the executioner, which is roast beef, smoked cheddar, barbecue, and chipotle slaw. All 3 of those sound amazing.
Yeah.
But he also sells on the side or by the bottle hot sauce to go with it. And if you pay $1 extra, you can order them to decimate the sandwich, which means they add Lucifer's Tears hot sauce and habanero pepper relish, which also sounds amazing.
Decimating the sandwich.
Well,
that's funny.
I love we have the sandwich place by us, the Boardwalk Subs, where you go there and say, hey, I want to get the number 7, double meat, go rogue. And then they flip the bread, toast it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be good with this.
I forgot about that.
Get one of those sandwiches and pour this on there.
Yeah.
But they flip the bread, they oil it, put some parm, panini press it, and that inside bread gets a nice crust. It's a little bit of a challenge depending on what you get. I think a meatball subs was a messy venture.
They just roll right out.
Yeah, because the bread's like we took away the flat kind of like
so
bedding.
You're putting
for
a
it.
round ball on a round piece of bread now.
Yeah, but
still good. I like it that way. I feel like
fun.
It tastes different.
Yeah, and we talked about with Mammoth hot sauce how like the Whiz Wit, how they order the Philly cheesesteaks at Wit or Without, the whole thing. Going up and being like, hey, let me get a Salsalito Slammer decimated with extra pickles or whatever. It's like, that's actually a really cool idea. I didn't go into this on the research or the discussion, but do you know what the definition of decimate is, or one of the definitions of decimate is? I didn't know if you brought any fun facts to this one because we've been kind of
not specifically decimate. Hold on.
I did not. So when I
reduce to nothing.
So that's the one that I think of is like decimate as far as like demolish, and that's the one I'm sure that he's going for. But when you search it, the first thing that comes up is decimate, and decimation was a form of Roman military punishment. That was like they picked 1 out of 10. And had the other. Yeah, it was.
And wouldn't they behead the 10th one?
So
that's where the metric
throughout
system
history
came from. Does that have to do with decimal?
Oh my God! If that's the basis of decimal,
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
All right, we might be going rogue here.
We might have to do a follow up on this one. That might be a follow-up.
I'm pretty sure the metric system stemmed from that era of, like, they'd line up the army. If they were losing, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're beheaded, and they'd just go right down the line.
So there's a couple different forms that I read. One was like, and I was like, this is getting way too dark. I can't go into this, but we're going to go into a little bit. So yeah,
hold on.
Some of
hot sauce is called decimation. We need to go into dark.
I know, but it's such a good orange citrusy forward sauce. I'm like, we're focusing on the habanero pain.
Lob some heads.
But yeah, some of them I read was like the practice was every 10th was just that person was killed. I read another, because different militaries have used it as recently as like World War II. Some other countries have used it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but Romans always have the origination for like terrible
Yeah.
terrible things.
Hold on, real quick. Not so much terrible things, but we were on our honeymoon in Italy.
Yeah, good thing you said not so much terrible things.
Yeah.
Right before.
Yeah, speaking of terrible things, I was on my honeymoon, you know. No, honeymoon was great. But walking through Pompeii, he kept saying like what all the different structures were and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Essentially every word we use today was originated in the Rome area. It was crazy, like street, cubicle.
Cubicle?
Yeah. Like
that's an
like a partition in a room. It was, I don't know the exact word for it, but it sounded very similar to cubicle. And he's like, yeah, you know, and he had very thick accent, but he's like, you know, like the boxes and offices that people sit in. He's like, that's how we got cubicle, you know, like street. Essentially, like every word that we use in daily life parallels in some way and was started in that area. Anyways, I'm sorry. That was a weird, rude tangent.
That is, I mean, that's what we're built for in these episodes. It's good that even after a few weeks break, we can still just get into the random tangents. But the military, different militaries did different things. Some of it was just every 10th, they're done. Some of it, they broke it into individual groups of 10 and then picked one out of the 10 and had the other 9 had to kill the 10th one or kill the 1 out of 10. Which then, like, instilled the loyalty of the other. It was like this whole psychological...
We have it so easy today. It's unreal.
Yeah, you know, it's... You know, they always have those... I always see the posts on social media or whatever where it's just like, oh, back in the day or, like, the good old days or whatever. And that's all within that person's lifespan. So we're talking about the last, you know, at like best 70 years.
Original Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So, like, I look back and be like, oh, the 90s, the TGIF lineup. That was good TV, but I'm not going back to like, oh, the Romans military practices. But yeah, there's definitely been some improvements in some of the standards of what they do for like military discipline. Or,
yeah.
I mean, in contrast, when I was in the Guard on drill weekends, not every month, but a lot of months, there'd be a PowerPoint presentation on some type of mental health, how to like gauge, whether it be like how to tell if you're depressed, how to reach out, how to identify. So I do like... the transition and the focus.
Right.
And again, this was Roman military. This wasn't U.S. military or anything like that. Even the World War II one that I read about, it was another country, and I can't remember which, but I don't think it was on our side. I don't think it was an ally.
I would hope not.
So, that was the first thing that came up for decimation, and we will have to follow up to see if decimation has any relation to decimal, because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
It's like...
I think it's... To me, like, it jumps out as, like, decimation, decimal. Sound very similar, but I think for sure, as far as the metric system, the 10, the factor of 10.
Yeah.
You know, I think that...
It makes sense.
I don't know. I might be talking at 6 a.m. here, but I've heard it in the past, so I just need to fact check that.
We always think that, like, it's a good idea to do these things at... You know, oh, we'll just do it in the morning. It'll be fine. And then our brains just kind of...
Yeah. Or do it after work. And it's like, I have no energy left to talk.
So really, we just have to start doing it on lunch break. It's like, man, where do you go for lunch? Oh, podcast studio.
Yeah, just need to quit our jobs.
Yeah, that would be... There's a lot of steps between point A and point B on that one. Anyway, so I didn't go... I mean, even though we did talk about it quite a bit, I didn't do a full research, and none of that we just talked about is written down in my sheet. But I did go into 666.
So did I.
Okay, you did?
I did.
Okay.
The only thing I was going to share is like the most common thing with 666, which is all of the numbers on a roulette wheel added up make 666, which is what everyone knows it as. So
I didn't know that.
I'm just kidding. I didn't know that either. That is a real fact.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Did you just like bring a fact that wasn't a real fact? But okay.
No, it's a real fact. But no, I went to look it up and I thought it was going to, the devil and everything was going to pop up.
Yeah.
The first thing I read was it is the first prime numbers from 1 to 11 squared added up as 666, which that's been bugging me. So I'm glad I figured that one out.
Yeah, finally.
And then
slept better last night.
Yeah, all of the numbers on a roulette wheel, like at the casino, That's a big pour. Ha! You finally made a mess as much as I did.
One droplet on my side.
Yeah. No, and then all the numbers on a roulette wheel add up to 666. So that was the first thing I read. So I just thought it was funny.
That's why you should never play roulette. That's a sign right there. It's like, oh, you're going to play the game that adds up to 666?
Play the devil's game? Good for you.
The devil's wheel.
All right. That was probably my most interesting 666 fact.
So I did not even see that when I searched it, which is interesting that you found that. Because, when I search it, it's like the number is the name for the Antichrist, which there is some debate on if that's what was being referenced in the Bible, because at that time, in between the 40 and 60 AD time frame, there was also the theory that it was talking about the Roman Emperor Nero, who apparently was one of the worst. Just killed his mom, terrible atrocities to his people, but they were thinking that he was being referenced as the 666, which is it's always interesting when an emperor is like, yeah, I think they're talking about me, or it's the Antichrist. I don't know which.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Shoulder shrug. Apples
and oranges. The other thing that was interesting on this was there's people that have an aversion to 666. They either have fear of it, they are afraid of it because of their religious beliefs, whatever it might be. Do you know the name of the phobia? That for people that have, it's someone who experiences intense, irrational anxiety or fear when faced specifically with the number 666.
I saw it last night, but I don't recall.
So I had to phonetically spell it out, and I'll probably still butcher it. It is hexacaucioi. Hold on. Hexacaucioi hexaconta
I get the hexes make sense.
The hexes make sense.
I don't know why you need all that other stuff in there. You can call it hexaphobia.
Triple hexaphobia.
Yeah.
Boom.
Trihexaphobia.
Yeah, trihexaphobia. Nailed it.
I think we need to get a hold of Webster. I think we just shortened that word up.
That's people afraid of 36. But no,
that's a doozy. Hold on, is that written out?
Phonetically, I changed the phonetic hexas just to hexa because I'm like, I know.
Okay.
But yeah, hexacaucioi hexaconta hexaphobia.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Well, in the 666, it is funny. When I used to work at a bank, I had someone that called specifically to get a new debit card because the 666 was in the debit card number.
Yeah.
And they said, I need a new card. I'm like, why? They're like, it has 3 6s and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not about that life.
I was at Taco Bell one time and my order came out to $6.66.
Yeah.
And they rounded down to $6.50.
Weird.
Yeah. It was very kind of them.
Is that one of those superstitious things where there's no 13th floor?
I don't know. They were just like, I'm going to round down for your order here.
One of the things with the 666, they talk about how 666 is the gematria spelling of the Antichrist, where it's the letters add into a numerical value, which there's a calculator on a website that has, you write a name and it gives you that number of what it is.
Yeah.
But there's 3 different ones. There's a Hebrew, there's a simple English, and then a standard English. So I don't know which one they're using, but it's something where any name that you use can be converted into a numerical value very easily. But also it's referenced in Revelations 13 verse 8, I think. It references that, but often refers to the unholy trinity of Satan, the beast, and the false prophet. So I went a little bit into it. I'm like, I don't want to get too much, but it was interesting where the phobia is such...
Yeah. No,
I have a slight phobia of pronouncing the phobia for 666.
I have a phobia of big phobia words.
I wonder. Yeah, I'll have to look up the phobia of big words. That'll be a fun one.
Guess what phobia I'm most familiar with?
Beans?
Arachnophobia.
Oh, arachnophobia.
Man. Which is weird. I used to like that movie. Did you ever watch that movie with...
with John Goodman.
Yeah, and Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I used to like that movie, and one day, I'm just like, it just didn't hit right one day. I would watch it totally fine, and then one day I just started looking at the wall behind me like, I can't do this. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I just remember John Goodman with a flamethrower. Just go into the basement of the house.
So that was Jeff Daniels. He had a can of Raid or something in a lighter.
Was it Jeff Daniels?
Yeah. John Goodman had the backpack sprayer.
Oh, okay.
He was so funny in that movie. He has 6 lines or something. Mm-hmm. But just the casual exterminator.
Yeah.
Big shot. That's actually, his scenes are hilarious.
I'm trying to remember, was there a scene where spiders came out of a faucet? I'm trying to remember. I have like images where I don't know if it's that or if it's just images inspired by that movie.
Yeah, I don't know about that specifically, but yeah, I have a hard time with that movie now.
Yeah.
They use huntsman spiders, real huntsman spiders for that film. And those are like the ones you see the videos of people trying to catch them in their house in Australia. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you might as well have a raccoon stuck to your ceiling and they're trying to catch it and they jump off the ceiling. Dude, those will make me pass out.
I don't like that at all.
Do that. And they're very harmless to people. Huntsmans are. Yeah. But they look like, give me a million tarantulas over a huntsman.
I feel like it might have been a bad idea to have such a hot sauce on an empty stomach in the morning. I'm like, my stomach is like starting to gurgle. Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta feed it something because it's like you just laid down a sea of hot sauce.
Jump started the acid production.
Yeah. But like anything you put in here is just going to burst into flames.
It's going to get decimated.
Farm to flame in my stomach. I thought about when I saw that farm to flame, I'm like, why don't they do flame to table? I'm like, well, no, they want it to be from the farm. They want to show all natural. But also it's just like, flame to table, it's like, you never want to put a flame near a table. It's just not good practice.
Except at weddings. Then it's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Almost got burned alive at the wedding that we went to because they had sparklers set up.
Oh, yeah.
And the wind caught it.
You said like half the photos of like people dodging sparkles.
Yeah. It was a beautiful wedding. They set up these sparklers for their first dance, but it was a windy day at the beach. And so Angela and I are sitting there with our kids and the sparklers, the wind was blowing right to us. So Angela grabbed my son and got out of there, and I just like enveloped my daughter and was just like, my back is so sweaty, it's not going to burn. It's like, worst case, I'm going to get some red spots on the back of my bald head.
It's like everyone thinks Matt's on fire because he's smoking. You're like, no, it's just steam. It's just
it's just little pockets of steam. It's like, no, it's like when like smaller rocks like come in through the atmosphere. It's like, oh no, they'll dissipate before they actually hit. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, that's I forgot about that. Yeah, there's like so many stories from like Mexico and before that where I'm like, oh, we'll talk about this in the episode. And I'm like, that was like 2 weeks ago. I'm getting ready to go on another vacation, like short one, next week. So probably have stories from that. That one will have some fishing to do. So might have to see what's a good hot sauce to pair with that fish because we're going to be out in Lake Michigan. Yeah. Doing the big charter. And last year we got some good coho, going after king salmon. Side tangent, last year when we did the charter trip, we had 4 people and you rotate, like once one's on, next person in line grabs the pole. Every time it was my turn, it was the smallest fish of the rotation. It's like
just a little greasy laker that comes in like a wet plastic bag.
Yeah, it's like they're getting these like massive fish and it's like, wow. And then it's my turn. They're like, good job. Like, good for you. You got one.
Got him.
Yeah. But I was like, hey,
hold them up, Maddie.
I'm just getting those out of the way so they can catch the big fish. I was very selfless last year. Try to be more selfish this year. Yeah. Well, and my parents just went to Canada fishing too, and so fishing is all around this time of year. But actually, putting this hot sauce, like a splash of this, into like a homemade tartar sauce,
that'd be good.
I feel like would be really good. Tartar sauce is I don't know how people think of it, but for me it's like it's a little bit like ketchup where it's like if I made a good piece of fish, are you really going to put tartar sauce? But sometimes it's just it hits the spot. Like if I get fish sticks from the freezer, I'm not insulting anybody. Let's dunk them in some tartar sauce. But I have started making my own using, just putting in some mayo, dicing up some pickles, or if you have capers, that's a good one to do. Putting in a few different seasonings. I like to put in a little green onion, kind of put like some scallions or something in there. But yeah, a dash of hot sauce. I've done a splash of Louisiana's because that always goes good with fish. Yeah. Original. But
yeah, no, I see a niche for this. So like I do, I'll do salmon and foil a lot and you can do a million different things with that. But I'll do, sometimes I'll do like orange slices for the citrus on it. Okay. A drizzle of honey. Yeah. But then drizzle some of this on there too. I feel like that'd be really good because it's already citrusy.
Well, and the citrus also, when we do tacos, sometimes if you do steaks where you marinate it with, if you do like a shredded beef or you do a steak taco where you do like use a lot of oranges and lime juice to marinate and break it down, this would be a good drizzle on top of there. You don't need a lot of it though, because
Right.
it packs a punch. My dad just tried Spicy Shark when we were at Boston. He bought a bunch of maple syrups and honeys from Spicy Shark, and he had like a blueberry hot honey. So the hot honey or hot maple syrup, but it's very minimal heat, but it's there.
Mhm.
My niece used it on her breakfast yesterday morning, and he was like, "Yeah, she loved it." And I'm like, "That's the ladder, but this is at the top. Like this isn't a ladder. This is a like cannon shot up to the top."
I wouldn't be like, here, kids.
Yeah, and my nieces have asked a little bit. Well, the oldest niece has asked about like, what's a hot sauce I should try, and I want to get those steps.
Mhm.
This would be you're at the mountaintop. Let's. It's not the hottest thing that we've had. It's not the hottest thing that we will have, but it's very strong heat.
Yeah.
So
Not a beginner.
no, it's a beginner if you like, I don't want them to like hot sauce. Let's burn them out first.
Yeah.
But they still could like it. I mean, the citrus is there. It's just
Yeah.
your mouth will be on fire.
Sure. No, it's definitely one you give to like your brother. Like both my brothers like hot sauce, so I can't really get anything by him, but
Mhm.
that'd be something where it's like my little brother does. If he didn't like it, I'd be like, oh, try this one. You'll be fine with that one. Just light him on fire.
The only thing that you can't do with this sauce is trick someone if you have the bottle to try to make them think that this is like a mild. Or just like, just try the sauce.
Right.
There's
you can't be
nothing
like, oh, it's a gag label. It's actually really mild.
It'd be harder to do like the mother-in-law mild, or even like the Green Hell is a 5 out of 10, but it's probably, it's milder than this by the rating. But like trying to be like, hey, this is an introductory one. Try this out.
Mhm.
Like, I see the skull. I see the flames. I see the sickle. Like, is it a sickle?
Scythe or a sickle? I don't know.
I see one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like,
There's an old school piece of farm equipment.
like the stanky sauce with like the monkey, like that one I could trick someone and be like, try the monkey sauce. sounds odd. But yeah, this one, the label definitely sets a tone. But I do like what we talked about, like the matted finish on the label. Oh, it says established 2019, so this was right before 2020. Also, these are ones that they recommend to refrigerate after opening. Even on their website, they have frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
And one of them was like, should we refrigerate? It's like, yes. And part of it is the color on these are so pretty. Like, it's just a really nice yellow orange.
Mhm.
Even the Hell's Harvest, which is the hotter one, is like a dark, like a burnt orange. You want to, as much as it's about the flavor, you want to maintain that color.
Yeah.
Like I've had a few hot sauces in the past. Usually it's like the grocery store ones where if I leave it in the cupboard, I look and I'm like, it's still good. It doesn't look great.
You look different.
Yeah. It's like, it looks like you've had a few rough months here. But yeah, so I have my score.
I've got mine.
I had to I need to print off a new scorecard because I wrote mine on the bottom here.
Were you 3 out of 10 or 3 out of 5 for heat?
So for heat, it's a low 3.
Yeah.
It's a low 3 because I think, again, if I'm eating this and putting down things in like in a meal,
Yeah.
I think my nose would start running and start sweating. I think it'd be that punch in the first spoonful, that punch in the first bite.
That got me too.
It gets really good, but I have adjusted to it.
Yeah.
But also I know the people that like, I have to start tailoring my recommendations because I used to think I had a pretty medium low tolerance. I was like, oh, Mike's got the high tolerance. He can handle the heat. I'm like down at the bottom. And maybe it's from just trying so much. And maybe it's just that I never really pushed it before. But now I'm realizing when I go, oh, this is like, it's got a good heat, but like, you'll be fine. And then the person's like holding their mouth, trying to figure out what to do. Like just dousing it with, whatever it might be. One thing I did find out or look up, citrus doesn't help when it's with habanero, but citrus is another good equalizer for heat.
Is it?
Just now when you mix it with habanero.
Yeah.
It does. They said it has the same effect as dairy as far as like attaching to those casein proteins.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has the same like ingredients in it. It's just, it does a similar thing. I also read something that says you can use water. You just have to like swish it and spit it out. It's like, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, just wash your mouth.
I guess what would be the difference between swishing, spitting it out, and swishing and swallowing?
I don't know. It's just like it's going down your throat, so you're still...
But it's still like in your...
I don't know.
It's still in your mouth and leaving your mouth.
It seems suspect to me.
Like I've never had a hot sauce, maybe except for like the hottest I've ever had, where I swallow it and it gets to my stomach and I'm like, oh, I feel it in my stomach now. Normally
the hottest one.
Yeah.
I've had a hot one where it's like, okay.
Yeah. No, I had like the capsaicin cramps one time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was I had it with Juju Birds. Their hottest sauce.
Yeah. That's probably the hottest thing I've ever had.
That sauce, we might have to do a special wing episode where we just try try one of their wings.
Yeah.
Or maybe get a cup on the side. But like they have I think it's called So Clucking Hot is the name of the sauce.
So I got that. I went home, ate the wings. It was so hot. I drove back to the restaurant to go talk to the owner of it because he like runs the counter and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, hey man, like I love hot food. I always get the hottest I can find. I was like, I've never had anything like that. And I drove back just to go talk to him.
It would be interesting to talk to him to find out what ingredients he like.
So he was telling me about that. He said he used to use fresh
peppers,
Carolina Reapers.
Jeez.
And then he said that was hard to keep it consistent. So now he buys a dried Carolina Reaper powder.
Okay.
That he puts into his sauce. It's freaking hot.
I know a few sauce makers, some that I met at the festival, but also some that are either using the dried or trying to transition from fresh to dried so they can do larger productions. Mm-hmm. And the transition is tough, but it is easier to measure out when you have a dried product versus, I mean, with the website of Decimation, they talk about, hey, these are all natural ingredients. We're using fresh peppers. There will be some variance between bottles. So this bottle we have, which
we lucked out. We got a number 69 batch.
Yeah, batch number 69. Batch number giggity 69. Our Hell's Harvest is bottle 50 out of 69. It's pretty good. Oh my gosh. I just looked at the ingredients of the Hell's Harvest. Carolina Reaper. But yeah, so the Juju Birds is definitely a hot sauce that we might have to revisit, or we might have to visit at some point, do a on location at the market downtown. But I had 80 out of 10, or 8 out of 100.
I had 75.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty close.
So we're right in that same range. And again, it's a scale out of 100. 75 and above, it's like we would stock this in our kitchen. 50 to 75, we would recommend anyone to buy. Above 50, you should try the sauce. You should buy the sauce. 25 to 50 is kind of the grocery standard. Ones that it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to say you've got to try this sauce. But it's something that if you say, hey, I bought this, hey, good on you. You'll enjoy it. But 25 or below is not for us, maybe for you. Mm-hmm. We'll find one. We'll find one that we're brave enough to air because I just don't like bad-mouthing sauce. And it's not bad-mouthing. It's just some might not hit the way that we would want.
Right.
Like if there's a bean-based hot sauce.
You're a nice guy. I've got a bone to pick with some people. I've got a sauce in mind.
Yeah, there'll be a airing out the laundry episode of just like, all right, here's the sauce that I tried. What are you doing?
I want to talk. I want to get them live on the phone and just talk to the person responsible for signing off. Like, yep, start production with this.
It'll be the Kelly from The Office. Like, I've got a lot of questions. First of all, how dare you?
Yes, that's exactly.
Secondly, why? Third, how dare you again? But yeah, I like this sauce. I remember that
that's a good one.
His sauces, all the flavors were really, it wasn't just hot. They had really strong flavors. The pumpkin one, I feel like I remember pretty well for the Hell's Harvest, but I don't think I tried the Mother-in-Law mild because I was like, why?
Yeah.
And if I did, it was like masked by the other ones. But yeah, this is one I could see putting in quite a few things. Some things more heavy-handed than others. Yeah, shrimp. So I had shrimp in the freezer at work, and I decided to go get nachos from Qdoba yesterday. And then I'm standing there about to order, and they have shrimp as a specialty thing now. They have a shrimp lime, whatever. Oh, nice. Like, oh, that sounds good. I'm like, I can't get a shrimp dish when I have shrimp sitting at the office.
Leave shrimp to find shrimp.
Yeah.
It's like fishing. Don't leave fish to find fish.
I'd almost wonder what I want to use seasoning, though, because I have a Cajun seasoning for that shrimp, but that's like a very strong flavor going against this, where I almost want to do a minimal seasoning on the shrimp.
Like salt and pepper and let add that or something. Yeah. This would go good. Just down the road, that Burrito Loco. You ever been there?
Mm-mm.
They have like I think it's their Loco burrito, but it's like beef, chicken, and shrimp.
Okay.
When it's kind of more of like a fresh burrito. I feel like that'd go good on that.
I feel like this would, as most things do, the barbecue food truck, I could find something to put on that.
Yeah. And
go good. I mean, certain cuts of meat, especially if you marinate in anything citrusy, would be strong. So
right.
This was a great sauce. I'm excited to do the other two on quickfire episodes, which we'll have to post about at another time here. But
that's good. I'm surprised. Like, I get a lot of carrot out of that too, but like I'm surprised. I never really paid attention before between just like the all natural sauces versus like the ones with preservatives or something in them. I really like them. I feel like maybe it's because I know about it, but I feel like I can tell.
This is also vegan, so
is it nice?
Good. This is my vegan diet.
There's no beef in that hot sauce.
Like vinegar, habanero pepper, cow, beef, ham hocks.
Yeah, when you read like a jerky ingredient, it's just like mechanically separated beef or chicken or something like that. Like, did you have to put that? Like, I don't see what the mechanically separated has to do with the diet. Like, you know, it's like, if you don't mechanically separate it, I'm good with that. If you mechanically separate it, not good with that. It's like, how do you think it came off the bone?
Exactly. No, that's... I feel like we've been doing a few hotter sauces lately, which is fun because we were doing a very like mild to medium range for the first handful of episodes.
Yeah.
And we've got some pretty good burners out there. Just as a little bit of a teaser, Roddy from Faya, he had just done a stepped up hot sauce from a hot sauce he already made where they like this, but they want it hotter. So we've got a 2.0 in the batch that he gave us. We might have to do a whole week of episodes for him because he gave us like the full lineup.
Oh, really?
And he's got some very interesting flavors, but also a lot of flavors. It reminded me of, I was listening to an interview. It was the Talking Heat podcast. They just had Red's Hot Sauce on, and for their 10-year anniversary of being in business, they released a brand new 10 sauce lineup. So they have their lineup, and they released 10 brand new sauces.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of like, I was like, I would need so much time just to build a 10 sauce lineup. Like some of these places, they have 3, like they have 4. They have like stanky sauce just doubled from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot. That's a lot of, I wonder how long they prepped that, like when the starting point for that was. And I'd have to go back and finish the episode. I wonder if they talk about that on that, because that would be my question for him is like, you have your 10-year anniversary. Here's when you release this 10 sauce lineup. When did you?
Yeah. When did
the idea where you first wrote down the first recipe of here's recipe number 1? And is it you write down the names of them? You do ingredients. I have a lot of questions for him.
Yeah.
In a positive way. We have a lot of questions for the sauce that Mike's mad at that we will not list on this episode. But we have a lot of positive questions for Red's Hot Sauce. So just a lot of questions in general. Pretty soon we're going to get somebody on where we can start talking to people. We still are very much trying to learn our technology with podcasting. So I was talking to somebody about our setup, and they were just kind of like, that works? Like, so far it does. I have a couple special shout outs and thank yous to a few people for this. It's been a few weeks and I feel like I should have more, but shout out to Mammoth Hot Sauce. He sent us a dinosaur fact that you did not know about.
No, I appreciate that. The fact that someone was like, hey, they would appreciate this dinosaur thing and just fuel the adult addiction of dinosaur loving.
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome.
We are primarily a hot sauce podcast. We are secondarily, we're like a foodie hot sauce pod, like site, Instagram, podcast. Our tertiary, I love using that word, our tertiary objective or tertiary kind of like front is dinosaur facts.
Yeah. Or extinct megafauna, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So just so anyone's out there, if you have a dinosaur fact that it's a news story, it's a discovery, whatever, if you find one, either tag us in it, send it to us, and let's see if Mike knows about it.
I would love to know. I would love to have that happen.
Because, yeah, it would just be, like, if his alarm clock was just, hey, good morning, do you know about this? It's like, I do, but I didn't know this extra detail. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that'd get me out of bed real early every morning.
Your wife would be like, you're talking even more about dinosaurs than you normally do. What's up? It's like, I've got a team feeding me information. The other special thank you I wanted to give was to Roddy at Fireco, because he reached out to me this weekend, actually just yesterday, and was telling me he just is sending us a new purple flame hot sauce to try, because the recipe, they tweaked it a little bit. Not so much, I don't think it was about the flavor as much as the consistency. When we got it and we were going to try it, I think this coming month of August was the plan. When we got it, we were surprised how liquidy it was. And it's something where that's just the way that it was. But he said this batch is how it was supposed to be, the vision of what it was supposed to be. So he's sending us that. I'm still going to use the Purple Flame, I'm sure. Like,
Sure.
The flavor sounds interesting. I think it's a blueberry sauce. But I'm still going to use it. But maybe it's more you use it in a sauce. Like, you pour it into something that blends in instead of, like,
Right.
if it's too watery, drizzling on certain things might be tough. So although you get like one of those Mississippi venison roast things where it's like you just shred it and
Oh, yeah.
put a wet hot sauce on there, it just all just goes into all the nooks and crannies. So
Right.
So thank you to him for proactively reaching out for that. We're excited to try his sauces. We've got a backlog of sauces, but I know that's one of the ones kind of on the forefront of what we want to do, and we got to just schedule it out. So a lot of organization and getting some things going now that weirdly we're almost through the summer, which I can't believe. So special thank you to those guys, and thank you to all of you who stuck around and listened to the end of the episode. This was, I don't know if it seemed longer because it's so early this morning, but it's kind of in line with what our normal episodes are.
We made it through with no yawns. I've been paying attention.
No yawns, and my kids are still asleep. So no trampling. The last episode we had, I was going to say they were like our third member of the podcast, but they kind of, I think, wedged one of us out where it's like they're the second one. But yeah, so thank you again. And if you enjoyed the episode, just make sure to either leave a review on wherever you listen to it, Apple, Spotify, whatever it might be, or just, share it with someone or send it out. I know this is one that, again, Jared's going to be at the New England Hot Sauce Festival in Hampton, New Hampshire. So it's something where if anyone's going out to that, this would be a fun way to listen to a little bit of background on Decimation. Maybe see what you think when you go try the 6.6 citrus and see if you agree. See if you're getting that upfront citrus. See if you're getting punched in the mouth with habanero and heat and that first spoonful.
I want to know, I kind of want to do a test. I don't know how we would do this, but like morning taste buds versus evening taste buds.
I'm going to be learning about empty stomach versus full stomach here in a minute. So, but yeah, so thank you again. And if you have any recommendations of sauces you want us to try, any events that are coming up you want us to look at, anything else that you think would be cool, food pairings that you think would go good with a citrus hot sauce, let us know. Message us either directly on Instagram or tag us in it. If you need to get a hold of Decimation Hot Sauce, which I recommend you do, decimationhotsauce.com is their website, and Decimation Hot Sauce is their Instagram page. I think that is all for us this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks, guys. Are we going to cover the word Worcester?
Yes.
Is this Worcester?
No.
Don't make me say it on air.
I won't.